And welcome to NFL Week 17. This is the Turnpike Sports Pro Football Pick segment powered by BetfredSports. I'm Doug Weishuttle here with Dave Weishuttle. We're going to go through our best bets for the weekend's games on the NFL slate coming up. Kind of an interesting weekend.
Yeah, well, boy, how many people did Detroit just annoy? I almost said pissed
Annoyed
off,
me.
but boy, you had so much confidence in Detroit the way they were playing, and that was like. That was a bettor's dream.
Yes.
Yeah, Detroit playing that day because everyone was on Detroit.
I have to admit,
And if you're following the circa contests out there,
yeah.
I think Detroit was the team most picked by the contest players. So a big letdown for Detroit.
I have to admit, Detroit had the opportunity to become the betting public's darling.
Yes.
And they made.
I mean,
they were bad. They didn't even show up.
Everyone I knew or know bet on
Yes.
Detroit. It was just shocking. It was shocking.
Yes.
We both had it.
Oh, yeah.
So,
No.
so
I really thought.
and not only did they lose,
Yeah.
they just got blown out.
Well, it's interesting. After that game, I'm starting to see a lot of the NFL pundits start picking Carolina to win the NFC South.
Yeah,
I don't know about that yet.
I'm not
That's,
to that point yet,
No,
but
well, with the way Tampa Bay is playing, I think it's anybody's game right now for
yeah,
the NFC
yeah.
South. Just a little betting trends to look at for the upcoming week here. Remember when we first started the season and the underdogs were hitting around a 65% clip?
Mhm.
It has now dropped down to just a tick under 55% in favor of the dogs. So it's dropped by 10% in terms of how much the underdogs are beating the favorites.
okay.
The unders started again, 63, 64% at the beginning of the season. They're now down to a shade under 56% winning.
Okay.
So we're starting to see exactly them coming back to earth, maybe 50-50 by the end of the season. I don't think so, but
let me tell
it's
you
getting
something.
closer and closer.
I was sweating out an under for the Green Bay Miami game. I had the under 49.5, and that was right down to the end there. And Tua threw that last interception, and I could breathe easy.
Well, I had the under for the Cleveland-New Orleans game, and thank God for incompetence.
Yeah.
Because those two teams looked really, really
And by
bad.
the way, I think I hit my first push
Yes.
last weekend. I went with the Minnesota Vikings, and they won by 3, and
Yep.
I took them. I thought they'd beat them by more than 3.
Well, we each have a push now for this season, so that's good. You know, it kind of evens out our standings a little bit, but I still got about a half a game and a half lead on you right now because I've come around after starting out badly. But again, here we are, NFL Week 17, Turnpike Sports Pro Football Pick segment powered by Betfred Sports, and we got a brand new offer from Betfred Sports. New customers, when you sign up with Betfred Sports and you make your first wager a $50 or more bet, Betfred's going to give you $111, plus you get up to $200 per week for the first 5 weeks of your account activity. It's all paid in Fred bets or free bets, as you know.
bets.
I like that, Fred bets.
I like
they
that,
actually
yeah,
they
no.
actually came up with the term for it. So, but really, it's bet $50 or more, and you end up after the 5 weeks are all done. You could end up with $1,111. How about
great.
that number?
That's great.
Picket fences, if you look at it.
Yep.
But it's a great new offer. It's an ingenious offer.
I know. I love
It's
it.
great. It's great.
I love what Betfred
Yes.
does.
So check out the new offer. It's for the current sports books. And they just launched it right after Christmas, as a matter of fact. Without any further ado, we're going to be going into our pick segment. We're going to be doing Tuesday morning lines from Betfred Sports. We do point spreads and totals only, no money line bets, and we do 3 games each. Let's start off with game number 1.
All right, my first game is the Jacksonville Jaguars are traveling to the Houston Texans. The Jaguars are favored by 4 points, and the total is 43.5 points. I got to tell you, I like the way the Jacksonville Jaguars have been playing lately. I never thought I'd ever say that in my life, but they have. I mean, they've been taking care of the football, and I really like what they've been doing. They've won 4 out of their last 5 games, and they're really, really playing well. And they've been a covering machine lately. The Jaguars are 4-0-1 against the spread versus the AFC, and 5-1-1 against the spread in their last 7 overall games. So I just like I said, I can't stress this enough, and I'm shocked I'm saying this, but I like the Jacksonville Jaguars and laid them points.
Well, I took this game as well. I didn't do the spread bet. I went with the total.
All right.
I really am impressed, not just with the overall team, but you got to focus in on two people. Trevor Lawrence, the light switch seemed to go on.
Yeah, he hasn't turned over the ball a lot, so which is good. He's taking care of the ball.
He's running very well.
Yes,
and but he midway through the season, something happened there where it just started clicking for him, and you got to give credit to Doug Peterson. I mean,
absolutely.
The first half of the season, I really started to question whether he was the right guy for that team, and then all of a sudden the offense started going nutso and started playing very well.
Hey, when the Jags beat Dallas,
yes.
I became a believer.
Yes, and you gotta look at what's going on in terms of scoring as well for this game. I looked at the total here. In the last 8 games as an away team, Jacksonville, the over is 6-2 in Jacksonville's last 8 away games. The over is also 4-1 in the Jaguars' last 5 overall, and 2-1 for the Texans in their last 3. So I went with the over 43.5 in this game. Mm-hmm. Let's head on over to the second game.
My next game is the Minnesota Vikings traveling to the Green Bay Packers. The Packers are 3-point favorites, and the total is 47. I think this is going to be a very entertaining game, and if it's anything like the past Minnesota Vikings game, it's going to be very close. So it should go down to the wire. And if the weather holds out, this game has over written all over it. Let me give you some numbers. I was looking at this, and I was shocked. For the Minnesota Vikings, let's stick with them. The over has hit 5 times over their last 5 games, and 5 times out of the last 6 games they played an NFC North team. So the situation is good for the Vikings that they're going to go over. Let's take a look at Green Bay. The over has hit for the Packers 13 out of their last 16 games in January, and 9 times out of their last 12 games they played against a team with a winning record. Like I said, if I'm looking at the trends and I'm taking the weather out of the situation, because God knows what the weather is going to be, but if the weather holds out, I think this game is going to go over the 47 total points.
Well, my next game, I went with the New Orleans Saints visiting the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles are favored by 6.5 points. The over-under is 44. Still a question mark about whether or not Jalen Hurts is going to be playing.
Minshew played well, though.
That's why I think this spread is based upon Minshew. Mm-hmm. I think if Jalen Hurts plays, you may see the spread become a little bit bigger. I know the Eagles have had huge spreads in the past, like 10, 9.5. You may see a balloon to that. I don't know, but again, depends on who the quarterback is. Keep checking the lines, and when you see the announcements of who's starting, you may see a shift.
Well, if Hurts plays, I'm assuming that line is going to go.
It's going to go 9.5, 10.
9.5, 10. So you might as well take it now.
Yeah.
Take the Eagles now.
And
I didn't even think of that, but thank you. See, now I'm going to jump on it.
See, you have the Eagles are 6-1 against the spread in their last 7 home games. The Saints are 2-2 against the spread on the road. The Eagles are 6-1 against the spread in their last 7 as home favorites, and New Orleans is 2-3 against the spread as away dogs here. Look at both of these teams here. Saints are struggling on offense. The Eagles have put up at least 25 points in their last 5 games straight. Saints are 1-4 against the spread in their last 5 meetings. So everything is pointing toward, regardless of who the quarterback is, and again, we'll know closer to game time, but whether it's Minshew or whether it's Hurts, the 6.5 is just a nice number to have. Yeah. I went with the Eagles and laid the 6.5. Let's head over to the last game of the week.
My last game is, I think, going to be the game of the week. The Buffalo Bills are traveling to the Cincinnati Bengals. The Bills are 1-point favorites, and the total is 49.5 points. There's no hotter team right now than the Cincinnati Bengals, and Joe Burrow has been playing lights out. It's been incredible what he's been doing, and he's one of the top quarterbacks in the league. And I'm taking the Bengals because they have been playing incredible at home. As a home team, the Bengals have a great winning record. They've won their last 5 home games. Not only that, they are 5-0 against the spread in their last 5 home games. And taking a look at the other side, the Bills are 1-4 against the spread against a team with a winning record. I'm just loving the home dog in this one. So give me the Cincinnati Bengals and hooday.
There you go. Well, not who dat. That's the Saints
Who
too. Who day. Last game for me. Since the San Francisco 49ers traveling to Las Vegas to play the Raiders, San Francisco is favored by 5.5. There's an over-under of 44.5. This was an interesting game to look at. San Francisco is riding a 7-0 against the spread winning streak. The Raiders, and this has got me a little concerned when I was looking at this game. The Raiders are 4-1 against the spread in their last 5 home games. But if you look a little closer at what the Raiders have been doing lately, they're 1-2 against the spread overall in their last 3, and one of those was that miracle win.
Yeah.
And so they would be 0-3 against the spread in their last 3 overall. If you look at that, and the way the Niners are playing, I don't care who's at the quarterback anymore for the Niners, because that team just survives and plays well with their defense. It's shutting people out in the second half of games. It's really controlling the entire tempo of the game if you look at how San Francisco's been playing. Really, I mean, the Niners have held all their opponents under 20 points in 8 straight games. The Raiders still struggling to find consistency. I honestly think Carr is not a bad quarterback. I think it's that offensive system McDaniels has.
From all reports, I don't think he's going to be back with the Raiders.
No, so. You know what? I think he's a good fit with the Raiders. I think McDaniels may not be the fit. But we can't know because of the Raiders situation. They can't really get rid of him right now with everything. But
the coach, you mean? Because they can't afford to pay another fired coach.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens. But again, between the Niners defense, good offense, Raiders inconsistencies, I went with San Francisco and laid the 5.5. All right, let's recap the games. Why don't you go ahead?
All right, I'm taking the Jacksonville Jaguars and laying the 4 points against the Houston Texans. In the Vikings-Packers game, I'm taking the over 47 points. And for the Bills-Bengals, I'm taking the home dog and the Bengals, and I think the Bengals are going to win this outright. With 1 point, they're not going to cover, but I think they're going to win it outright.
Okay. My games, I also went with the Jacksonville-Houston game, but I did the over 43.5 in that game. I did the Eagles dropping the 6.5 against the Saints. San Francisco dropping 5.5 against the Raiders. Again, these picks will be up on the Turnpike blog, turnpikesports.us. Click on the blog button. They'll be in written form there. Please feel free to comment there. Email us. info@turnpikesportsradio.com is our email address. Follow us on Twitter, Turnpike Sports, Turnpike Bets. Facebook, Turnpike Sports, and Instagram, Turnpike Sports Radio is our handle on that system over there. So please, again, check your lines, check your totals, check the games before you make your bet.
Check the weather.
And enjoy the new offer from Betfred.
Yes.
And enjoy the games.
And that'll do it for us this week. We'll see you next time on the Turnpike.